Hello, welcome back to my haunted library. It's Regina. I sound like I'm slurring my words. I swear I haven't had anything to drink. It's just so hot outside that I came in and I'm just like, I don't know, I feel dizzy. Do you ever have one of those days? So I'm going to make this quick. I am so ready for fall. It's way too hot. I'm already thinking about my fall wardrobe. I'm tired of wearing my summer clothes and I'm ready for cool weather, and I'm sure most of the horror fans out there know what I'm talking about. But I'm here today with just a quick announcement. My book, Code Red, is now available in ebook and print on Amazon. So I want you to check it out, please. I'm really proud of this one. I think it's a lot of fun. And I would love to hear your thoughts because I wrote this one kind of just as an homage for my love of campy horror, whether it's film or fiction, that 80s style horror where it's just like a quick read and some fun scenes, some gore, some adventures. So I know Lydia Peaver in one of her recent videos mentioned, not in regards to my book, but just in general, the subgenre of hospital horror. This definitely fits that bill, as well as vampire and small town horror, rural horror, hillbilly horror, however you want to categorize it. But I try to put a little bit of a different spin. So here is my description of Code Red for its release day today. Wormwood Asylum, a private mental hospital located in Southwest Virginia, specializes in treating adolescent psychoses, including Renfield syndrome, an obsession with drinking blood. But when a young man is committed to Wormwood because he believes he's a vampire, it turns out he wasn't lying. And soon, rapacious revenants are running rampant over the rural mountain community. To fight the blatant bloodsuckers, the local sheriff teams up with a candy striper and her moonshiner grandpa, who just happens to have an arsenal of war-grade weapons stored in his prepper bunker for a bloody country hoedown of epic proportions. That's a very hyperbolic description, but I think it's apt as far as this story goes. I love my cover by Elder Lemon Designs. I feel like it's one of my best covers that I've had. And I will be doing some giveaways on Code Red for the month of October, probably, on Goodreads. So I will let you know about that. So it does feel good to launch one project and then have a few others that I'm finishing up. And of course, lurking in the dark. The next video I do will be the cover reveal, and I'm very excited. So I'll be spending a lot of time in September, which is almost here, getting that ready. So what else have I been doing? Well, I have not been reading that much, I'm going to be honest. I wish I had more to report. I did read a couple books for August, which I talked about in my last video, but I read a really great short story by our friend Priscilla Bettis. So a lot of us know who Priscilla is. She's a great supporter of BookTube and HorrorTube in general with her comments and support. I read her short story, and I tell you what, I finished it this morning, and it shook me up more than I expected, and I loved it. It's called The Hay Bale. I'll link it below. It's a great sample of her work. I can't wait to read more from her. And this slowly crept up on me. At first I thought, well, this is like like an elegant kind of quiet horror. No. This is full out graphic horror, and it was wonderful. It's a short story about a woman who moves into this haunted house. So it's a haunted house story, but it's also a folk horror story in the tradition of Harvest Home or Children of the Corn. There's this whole thing about a hay bale that's really creepy. And I actually want to read it again because I just was like, whoa, this is really good. It's beautifully written. Highly recommend it. I just can't wait for Priscilla to write more. Maybe come out with a short story collection, maybe a novel. I don't know, but I am going to be there. So definitely check it out. It's really, really good. I was pleasantly surprised at how good it was. Okay, so what else have I been reading? Oh, I'm still reading Tale of the Body Thief by Anne Rice. I'm slowly working my way into that. And let me tell you, I'm really enjoying this one a lot more than so far than I did Queen of the Damned, which of course had its wonderful moments, but meandered. in like no plot that I could possibly find. This one seems to have a little more, it's a little more anchored to a narrative that I can follow, but we'll see. I'm not that far into it. So I've been slowly reading that. I also had my first DNF in a while, I'm afraid to say. I read 100 pages into an acclaimed novel, The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones, and ended up throwing in the towel because I just could not really get into the story. This has happened to me a couple times recently with newer works, and I think that might be part of it. I'm just not really maybe used to reading like more experimental literature, which this definitely felt like. I liked the prologue. I was like, okay, the writing style is a little, I recognize it as the kind of thing that I don't really gel with, but I stuck it out, and I was supposed to be doing a buddy read with Marie McWilliams, and I finally sent her a message and I said, I'm sorry, Marie, I can't read this anymore. It was one of those things where I kept trying to read it, but my mind would wander, and then I would go back and reread the page again and still couldn't connect with it. The writing style is very much what I would consider like a new literary style. It doesn't follow like kind of a classic grammatical style, which some people I guess like, but I just find it confusing. I felt the same way when I was reading Experimental Film by Gemma Files. That was the last one that I can kind of remember that had the same problem for me. But no, I didn't really like it. But I found when I was reading a lot of the Goodreads, I went in and read the 5-star reviews, and then I read the 1-star reviews. And there were a lot of people that weren't in the same boat with me with that book, who found it confusing or even a little boring. You know, like if I can't connect with the story, if I can't connect with the characters, I'm lost. So if you confuse me, you lose me. And if you lose me, I'm going to bail. So I hate to do that with a book, especially one I bought. I put it up on eBay. So, you know, I usually just give my books away, but now I'm like, you know what? I have an eBay account that I haven't used for a while. Maybe I'll just start selling the new books that I DNF. So they find a happy home. But yeah, that was a disappointment. Not saying that, you know, he's not a great writer. A lot of people praise this book to the heavens. So I'm in the minority there, I realize. But, you know, whatever. And yeah, so I'm just going to stick with Tale of the Body Thief till I finish it, and then I'll do a review. So what else? For my fall TBR, I'm thinking of going into reading some classics, because September to me is like back to school. I have a little more of a reading ambition going into the fall. So after all my garbage reading in the summer, which I loved, but I want to try to read some classics, maybe reread Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Dorian Gray, you know, dig into some of my leather-bound tomes and do a little reading. That's the plan for that. And I also have been watching, I just watched episode 2 a couple nights ago, and it's really, really good. I really want to recommend, I have to say so far, because I don't know how it's going to play out, but House of the Dragon, the Game of Thrones prequel that's currently on HBO, is great. If you were disappointed with Game of Thrones, like a lot of us were in that last season, and how it really went off the rails and got so ridiculous, and I had actually read all the books up to the last one, the dragon one, because of that, you know, I got like let down by that series, how it ended. I thought it was so ridiculous, but this is somewhat redeeming. It's really good. Great writing, great characters, some definite surprises. I feel like I'm back in that world that I loved when I started watching Game of Thrones. So, and you know, I didn't feel that way about The Witcher season 2, which I haven't even finished yet. I just kind of, I don't know, the first season of The Witcher was so great. The second one I was like, okay, I don't know. It's just one of those things. So much of it just depends, I think, on mood, but also good writing, you know. It's very subjective, I guess. So is that it? Oh, one other thing I want to mention, if you haven't seen it yet, and I will link it below because it's so great, check out Juan over at Plagued by Visions. Check out his video on the Paperbacks from Hell. I was part of it. I was happy to be part of this ensemble, this cast of booktubers who love horror, giving our takes on some of our favorite Paperbacks from Hell. Juan did an amazing job putting the video together. It was fabulous working with him, and all the other people involved also did a great job. So make sure you check that out and let me know what you think. I would love to hear your thoughts. So that's all I have for today. Thanks for checking out Code Red, and I will see you next time in my haunted library. Bye!